Hey guys, my name is Raw Sky and this is Kiko, and we are here with the Ups and Downs of Raw podcast. We will be talking about turning challenges into advantages. Both Kiko and I saved our own life with food and with, looking after ourselves, changing our life, and we are here today. So, hey Kiko.
Hi, Sky. I have missed you and I have missed our podcast, and I'm so happy to be back. And you looking so gorgeous.
Thank you. I must say, if people have been following, I have not been the best. I've had like a cold or a flu over the last week, or some sort of virus, but I've had plenty of rest. So that I think, like, well, not in New York, obviously, but the last week, and it's very relaxing here. So
Oh,
that's
good.
probably why I'm like feeling like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. And Tessa is here too
Hey,
already.
Tessa. Oh, I missed everyone. I feel like it's been ages.
I know, right? Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. I'll let you take the floor. Go for it. Taking
Yeah, so
challenges into advantages.
yeah, thanks for putting that title, Turning Challenges into Our Advantages. And this is such an important topic. And this is a journey, right? We learn from our challenges. But, when I'm in midst of challenges, which I have gone through so much this year. I mean, this year, my father has passed away. My mom already passed away. So I don't have my parent. Both my parents are gone, and father of my husband has passed away some years ago as well, and the family dynamic has changed, and it's been I cannot go into the details, but this, aside from my dad's passing, I had some accidents, like few accidents, which was very, very strange and very scary. I had some health challenges, and I don't know. I'm actually a very positive and optimistic person, so I have to remind myself what I have gone through this year, because I feel like, oh, I've gone through this, and I tend to forget the negatives very easily. But when I'm going through this kind of challenges, it's very difficult, especially this year, because it was all at once from March to June, around that time. And I have to keep reminding myself that this is going to be very, very exciting, because the way I found raw vegan diet was when I was going through a very dark time. And if I wasn't going through this dark time, I would have never stuck with raw vegan diet. And
Yeah.
because of that, I have gone through such a beautiful journey. I'm so grateful that I have gone through this dark time, so that I was able to stick with certain period of fully raw vegan diet. So it always turned out to be that the bigger challenges that I face, the bigger gifts that I get from my life.
Yes.
When you are in it, it's difficult, but I keep reminding myself. And I know when my friends or someone says that they're going through a very hard time, the darkest time, I'm very excited for them. I might not share that I am excited for them right away, because they might think that I'm being insensitive. But I'm coming from a very loving state, that hey, this is beautiful that you're going through challenges, that because this is a time that you're learning about yourself, and there's a huge candy or gift waiting for them at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. I am so grateful for my dark. I feel like all the lessons that I have, the part that gives me strength, that help me stay raw, that really is the gifts that I can give to people, come from like my darkest hour. The questions I get asked the most come from my darkest hour. What I do my lives and what I do my podcast, my business is essentially built on my darkest hour. People think it's built on the light, but there's only light because of the dark. and I spoke about this before. I think someone even mentioned I'm not very religious, but I'm like, isn't even in religious texts. They say, basically God was in the dark and he spoke, and light, was the first to come, but it could only come because there was dark. And when we understand that, we can understand that like it's literally like our higher self, our soul, or we've decided on some trajectory that we've come to this planet and we're going through these challenges, and without them our soul doesn't elevate. Like, and I always bring up the Ed Sheeran situation where all of he speaks about, he never learns anything at the Grammys. That's just like happiness. He learned to sing as a child, when he had a lisp, and everyone was playing around him and he sat at home learning music. And when a business partner leaves, he learns. And when we can shift that, and I just want to shift across, I did a post on my story about how Dr. Ids, do you know Dr. Ids?
I don't think so.
He praises a lot of plant-based lifestyle, but it's all based on science and facts. And I put it on my story, and it was about how
do you spell his name?
IDZ. I can actually bring him up here.
Great.
Let me just bring up. I don't know if I can bring up the story. I can always try. I don't even know. I think it's come down now, but let me bring up Dr. Ids. He basically takes people like social media influencers, just share bits of information which is false, and they have huge followings, and there's huge problems and disconnect in that when you actually dig through this science. So let me just bring up
Indian looking.
Yes, that's him. Let me share screen, and here we go. Share, and it should come across here.
Cool.
Okay, let me see if I can play something. I don't know where it might get taken down because I don't know if copyright. I'm sure he wouldn't even mind. Cure Crohn's, what you don't know.
Blueberry is not a brain food. That's interesting.
Yeah, so people are like, or they say, or there's a somebody was saying, there's nitrates in beetroot, and there's nitrates in bacon, and there's, I think it's like it's something like nitric oxide is different to nitrates, and he just cuts through all the stuff. But let me bring this up. Anyone watching?
Interesting.
I wonder if this works. Hang on, let me close this and start again. So he does these.
For-profit automatically becomes evil, just how everything that is natural.
Let me start this again. Sorry, guys.
Not everything for-profit automatically becomes evil, just how everything that is natural does not become safe. Cyanide, arsenic, natural, not safe. For-profit, pharma, But what's also for-profit? Natural supplements, billion-dollar industry. Why is no one approaching them with the same level of skepticism that they are the pharma industry when they're also a for-profit billion-dollar industry?
Well, Dr. Mike is spot on here, Time School. And here's what most people don't realize. The supplement industry is massive, valued at almost $500 billion last year and expected to rise to $700 billion in 5 years' time. And the total wellness industry that includes everything from nutrition, spas, gyms, health devices, and so on, is valued at over $6 trillion, which is 4 times the size of Big Pharma. Yet, unlike Big Pharma, wellness products, supplements, and services don't need to prove that they're safe or effective before they hit your shelves. Oversight is almost non-existent, and frankly, you have no idea what it is you're buying. This study showed that over half of the top-selling immune support supplements had ingredients listed on the labels that were not detected through analysis, and they had undisclosed substances detected that were not on the product labels. This study that looked at supplements across a 7-year period in the USA alone identified 776 adulterated dietary supplements that included undisclosed drugs like sildenafil and synthetic steroids, and 20%.
This is why I do not take supplements.
No, that's not my point. My point I wanted to bring across is that people can, like, you make a post and people are like, oh, Big Pharma is really bad, and they can have this whole negative aspect, and it's just projected. And the whole thing is there's good in everything. Like, I break my foot, I'm so grateful for an x-ray. I've had a hysterectomy, which got me out of pain, and I'm so grateful that I can have hormone replacement. Yet most people just come at you in this community like it's bad. But what I like about him is, if you can see the big picture, is that I'm trying to bring up that in any challenge like that we go through these changes, we start to automatically think that big pharma's bad. But really, that whole market as well is problematic, but nobody cares. As soon as you're on this lifestyle, they're like, I'm taking magnesium and zinc. And you're like, hang on a second. The only reason we think big pharma's bad is because all these studies go behind it. I know it may seem off topic, but it's all about keeping a positive mindset. Like there was this Dr. Ids actually did another one about how when modern medicine came in, we increased our life expectancy by, I think, 40 years. So in the time from in the past up until now, we only got an extra 5 to 10 years in like thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution. When modern medicine came, because they get people to wash their hands, they do there's more to it than just drugs, right? But people see the negative. And I just want to bring up one more thing. I was running yesterday and I've was it today? Yes. And I have had a virus. And all of a sudden I'm getting towards my 5 kilometers. I'm back up. So I ran yesterday and today. And I start to not feel as good. And I'm close to home. And I start to go, come on, push through. And I'm like, Sky, this has been your problem your whole life. You need to love, stay happy. You've had a good run. And I battled with myself. I ran forward and then I ran back and forward again. And I notice in my life, if I start projecting at Big Pharma or projecting at something or saying, push through, feel pain, it repeats everywhere in my life. So the key that I have found is even if you think you might have something during the day, like one of your meals you absolutely despise and your brain starts going, push through, you have to do it. Watch it repeat throughout your whole life. So when it comes to challenges, I'm working so hard on seeing, I think I'm doing a good job of it, seeing the positive in everything. Like arsenic and cyanide as well in small amounts in probably things that we use industrially every day. The more I stop putting anything in a negative basket, the more I shine and my life shines and I come from love and gratitude.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory is very dangerous place to go in. And I have gone through that a lot. It's right after September 11, because I've gone through that. I was living in New York when that September 11 happened. And I worked in Ground Zero, right, like a few weeks after. And that's when my health went downhill. So it was very easy for me to go to this conspiracy theory. And then it's a great thing that I'm with, my husband who is like he's got a scientist mind. So he only goes like with facts. And yeah, so it's a beautiful balance. So I want to take back what I said. Like that's why I would never take supplements. When I take supplement, I do. I'm not taking one now, but when I take it, like Irish moss, like when I buy like packaged food, I'm very mindful like who to buy from, where I get it from. Right, it's super important. And yeah, that conspiracy theory, and also like. Buying is voiding, right? Buying is voiding. You have to know who you are voiding for, who you're buying from. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think also what we do by being raw foodists and raw vegans is we essentially every day are trying to do the best for our bodies. So most people I know are not just doing raw food, they're doing meditation and walking and exercise. Their hobbies are in good space. And so if you do need to take something that has scared you in the past, your body should be running more efficiently than most. That's not for everyone. If it doesn't work, of course, that's something you say it doesn't work, but it doesn't mean it doesn't work for everybody. And this is the greatest lesson, because I too came to this lifestyle, although I said it was nobody's fault. I believe it was just part of the process of me and my soul that I healed this way. But there was part where I was like, why is there modern medicine, all of this stuff? But I found this part of my healing journey has, the broken toe and also putting the estrogen in. And I do take magnesium at night. I never had supplements for years. And I have to if I start saying bad things about them, I'm essentially saying bad things about myself. And I won't go there. And if anybody ever needs something from anybody, a doctor, and you've just badly spoken about it, what you're doing is stepping into putting yourself down, because you're using that. And I just think what is hard, it's hard work, but I feel like I'm getting really used to it, is sitting in this space of where everything has good aspects. It's just how they're applied. And the more you see the good, the more your life delivers good. Well, mine seems to be delivering more good.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I just noticed my weakness is if I, in one small area, start to put myself down or see it negatively, it just starts to flake up in every area in little like subconscious ways.
Mhm. Yeah, and just demonizing something, because I do believe that everything has a good positive part, and you just, you have to be mindful of choosing what you want for, your daily intake, or,
Yeah.
and I have been demonizing pharmaceutical company for many years, ever since I became raw vegan. And I'm never gonna go. I don't want to ever go see doctor. I don't want to ever take medicine. And medicine is great.
Yeah.
There's a place for it. And I have to say now, I started having my period back after a year. That I didn't have. I was taking a pill to stop my period because it was way too heavy. It's called Lermina, and I recently started taking it. And before, my attitude was like, oh, oh, my body is not perfect, or maybe I didn't do perfectly with this diet, or what's wrong with me, that kind of attitude. But this year I'm like so grateful for this tiny pill, like pink
Yeah.
pill, that that's stopping my period for now. That's like best solution. And it's like the whole, when your attitude change, it's a whole different effect for your body, right? I'm just grateful every time.
Yeah, and that's, I feel like the greatest lessons that I've learned this year, where I feel like more of my journey right now is sitting in mind and spirit, like because uh, I just feel that, and I've said this even before I got to this point in my journey, where the planet is dense. There's like it's vibrating. A lot of people in a very dense energy that pulls the entire consciousness of a planet down. And we think just because we eat a certain way and we've evolved that the space that we're living in is pure as us, right? So just say you're eating this pure, the packages of sunshine, but Earth is not like that. Your past is also inside of you. And I feel like it's one of the things is to accept that yin yang balance. But what if you just keep picking the light every time, so that your brain, instead of diving and going down into spaces which, any negativity, essentially when you're in trauma, it's very different. You have a traumatic response. But if you sit in that space for years and you let it fester, it's like wildfire. It spreads everywhere. And so I'm doing this conscious thing that everything has love. I mean, it's made, the whole planet is essentially love. It depends how we see it. You can go dark or you can go
Yeah.
light. And yeah, so it's about finding, and when those, I got asked today, like, how do you stay in a positive mindset when you really struggle with your mind? And I said, I do what I do every day, like my food and my exercise. I really stick to the routine, which makes me feel amazing. What else do I do? Nature and things. But if I can't shift it, I will use physical things. I find I have to have a cold shower or I have to get in the ocean. Sometimes if I'm in a situation not close to those, I could go for a run. But I have found that I just get, if I can't do it in my mind, because my mind can be a battlefield where you can talk yourself around back into the problem. That's the problem with the mind. If I'm out of the mind, when a challenge comes up, I can shift it and get a new perspective.
Yeah, the base for me is super important. I do the same thing, like, that a lot of people say that, oh, that's too much to do what I do. But like, if I don't have that base, I won't be able to feel good. Like, when this year has been really, really intense for me. And a lot of people would have gone, like my father's death. That's a huge thing for me, because I don't know. It's like there's a whole family dynamic has changed, and I could have easily fallen off on eating like processed food, cooked food, but I stick with raw vegan, because if I fell off the wagon, I know that in long term I would feel worse. I have been on this journey for 21 years, and I have gone through this guilt trip so many times.
Yeah.
It's not about the title of being fully raw vegan. It's just for me that ground, the diet is the most important ground to me, more than the exercise. Because if
Yes.
I don't feel good, I wouldn't be able to do exercise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And someone who's like healed themselves from rock bottom is, I had no access to nature or to exercise or to family or to my consciousness really without the food. And I know a lot of people say it's lots of things, and it is once you're up in the healing journey. But if you're really sick, the gateway to me every time is always food. If I've got that wrong, I don't have access to anything else. Once I've got the food, the raw foods, or high raw for some people, in, and you have access to all of these, you can help your soul in different ways. But I think the food is just, and I guess that's why we say we're raw vegan. We do raw vegan podcasts because we want people to understand. But at the same time, we don't want to be the person pushing it on somebody either.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about, it's definitely not about the title, or, that we are better than anyone. But I do like to push on this idea because it's a whole different perspective. I've never felt I've never felt so good about myself until I became raw vegan. There are so many layers of love. We talk about this love. Sky, you mentioned that you thought that you love yourself, but that love was superficial. You realize when you became fully raw. And
Yeah.
I've gone through the same way when I did the fully raw vegan exactly 21 years ago.
Today.
And well, September. I have to look. I think it was like the first week of September.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I said to myself, at that time I was 29, I think, and I said, "Wow, I've never felt so good in my whole entire life." And it was like a deep spiritual connection that I didn't understand at that time. I'm thinking like, I'm like almost 30, and how come that I never felt so good in my whole entire life, right?
Yeah, that's so special. There's like no words. The only thing that ever makes sense about this to me is when Dr. Morse speaks about angstroms, and how like I think broccoli, once you cook it, goes from like 8,000 down to like 3,000 angstroms, which is a measure of, I think it's radioactivity or electromagnetic activity, physicists use. And so grapes are the highest. So grapes are at like 13,000, 12,000, 13,000 angstroms. Fruit is around 10, 11. Vegetables are around, fresh, not cooked, are around 8 to 9. And it explained so well to me why you literally leap, why it's hard to leap, but we need our trauma to get us to leap. And then once we've leaped up these electromagnetic fields or levels, or angstroms, is once you're up there, you feel something you just never knew was possible. And especially most of us come off the back of the darkest days. Like my darkest days felt like, I think my darkest days were before this. Those 2 years felt longer than all that time I was in pain, because it was just the mental torment and toil. And then you jump and you're just like, and I feel like when I've been in denser spaces and I hear people talk about this, I can't hear them. And so it reminds me that there's no point trying to talk to the masses about this. And I feel it's a spiritual thing too, where they were destined to do it in this lifetime and experience this, or they won't. And I'm not here to push them up the angstroms, but just shine. Like all you can do is shine. Let what you eat speak for itself.
That's the best message. Yeah, we can give. Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up. This is like,
hi, Pala Mama.
Yeah. So at one point I felt guilty for feeling so amazing and being in perfect health when no one else was. That was years ago, and eventually I realized they're making their own choices. We go through a lot when we go raw. I feel like that self-sacrificing thought system that we've had since we were younger will creep its way through. Like even to the point, Kiko, and I know you brought this up before, where you nearly died believing that doctors were evil. and that medicine was evil, and you can't have a blood transfusion or iron infusion because you're supposed to just die. And it's like that's 20 years in, you're still battling with the demons from those self-sacrificing ways. So I'm so glad, Koala Mama, that you realized it, because it spreads in your life. Your life starts to get better everywhere.
Yeah, that's such a strong powerful statement. I'm so glad that Koala Mama has shared that's yeah. Just we don't, that's why I don't ever preach. I just do my weekly cafe. I do this podcast in Japanese and English, and if they want to watch it, they watch it, but face to face, I don't, unless they ask me specifically, I wouldn't share. But they always ask me, they always say, Kiko, where do you get that energy? It's like you're like nonstop. And it's true, like I feel amazing with this diet.
Yes, but I guess there's always lessons to learn. And I know my dad said to me when I was younger, like, life is like a school, right? It's full of lessons. Little did I know that you only are going to shine because of those dark times. Like, you can't, it's like, in truth, if someone goes to a doctor or an expert, they want someone who's been through it. You always hear this, they don't want someone fresh out of like college or fresh done a course and they're quite young. Is people really value life experiences, and we all have it in some aspect or a way. And that, I'm speaking to everyone who hasn't latched onto their passion yet. Whatever your passion or drive is, the people who want to listen from you and learn from you will come to you. Like, there's no way life will skip that. There's people out there. So if you haven't, because a lot of people heal and then they still have fear and they don't reach that stage where, for me, it was like recipes and sharing. For other people, it's a lot of art. And everyone has their different callings. Some people like being yoga instructors, but a lot of people stay still not thinking the diet's working when they haven't fulfilled all the aspects of their life. Like, they're like, I don't feel that good. But it comes from once you start on the food, it comes from, the nature and the movement and living your life purpose and feeling love. And so I'm speaking to everyone out there, like, whatever your purpose or calling is to just start even a little bit of it, because the people who are meant to find you will find you.
Yeah, I never thought that anyone is interested in this raw vegan journey. And I used to have a blog like 22 years ago, and I have access, and I sometimes I like to check what I used to discuss, and I was quite amazed. Like, I very never talk about raw vegan diet, and that was the most important part of my life. But I think I thought that no one is interested in this diet or lifestyle. But I had a huge transformation at that time. But like, why didn't I share? Like, who cares? Who cares? Like, why didn't I share who I was? Because I was always sharing a blog that's interesting more to the mass. And I never shared my raw vegan journey. And I don't regret anything in my life, because I am who I am because of all that past. But I would have definitely shared more about what was so true in me. And like recently this year, because I've been sharing a lot on YouTube and Instagram, my friend who's not raw vegan at all, she said, "Oh, it's so nice that you're doing this, and it feels more true to yourself." So
People see it.
Yeah.
Like, they see that evolution where you're constantly, people like, why are you always so happy? Because I live my truth. Like, even to the point where the content that people get it's not pre-planned. It's never like, ChatGTP, can you give me 3 reels for today? If I don't have passion or drive for a reel, you don't get it, because I want to look back on it. And like, I look back on my reels and feel inspired and they feel good. I don't want to ever look at something and just be like, it's robotic. And there's, when you start living your truth, you can't stop smiling. You can feel joy, you feel happiness, and when you get a return on your investment, or like which you put in yourself, you feel even more, and more. So I was going to bring up this one, Hi ladies, I recently read that leafy greens have the highest angstrom. It's angstrom, so it's ANGSTROM.
Extra.
Just yeah, angstrom is surprising. I can put it up on the screen. I could spell it on the screen. Is surprising as a long-time Dr. Morse listener. So I always hear Dr. Morse talk about the consciousness of herbs, and essentially all greens are herbs. All leafy greens are herbs in some type of way, as far as I know. And he always talks about that having like an unbelievable consciousness. But you're right, he never actually talks about the angstroms of. Let me spell this for you
I think
guys.
his supplements, Dr. Mars supplements.
Did you ever follow Dr. Morse?
I try listen. I never understood what he. Yeah, the message doesn't get to me, but
Well, you've got to go with the message, right? Angstrom is a unit.
But I know that you were taking the
Oh,
supplements.
that did not work for me. Angstrom. It really, I find I will tell you this, even if I do fresh and it doesn't agree with me, I still feel absolutely amazing. I can't do wrong on the raw food diet as long as my focus is fresh. Everything else, my body, it takes a toll. I think I feel it a lot more because I have no stomach. I think that's, there's lots of organs missing in me, but not having a stomach the thing that makes me feel the best is any bowl that is predominantly fresh. Unit of measurement.
Right now, you're focusing more. You're still focusing on omega-3 and
No. So that's all changed.
I love your journey.
Yeah, hang on, I'll show you what's happened now. I spoke a bit energy. Okay, I think this is right. Don't quote me here, but I think an angstrom is a unit of measurement for electromagnetic energy. Just for anyone that's been listening, and I'm like, I didn't Google that. That's from my head. So I probably should have Googled what it is. But it's an old unit. It's rarely used anymore. So it's usually when you Google it, it's hard to find. Yeah, so this is another thing I wanted to, before I go into Marcelli's, a lot of people bring up is Dr. Moz praises fruit for everyone, someone who sells herbal formulas. People do bring up that he does have a product. So when somebody is predominantly wanting a product, so the fruit goes with the product. If everyone went out and had fresh herbs, I don't know whether there'd be a product. But I'm not saying whether that's his agenda or not, but I have heard that brought up before.
Yeah, I do remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as for mast cell activation syndrome, so what I noticed is when I got to New York, and this is actually a good thing to talk about, actually. So I was started to notice that I was still focused on like the seeds and just cruciferous. And Jillian and I got caught up in whatever we're doing, and I'm not eating as much. I'm laughing more. I'm with my bestie. I'm with a lot of people. And I'm like, I'm not reacting to anything, like nothing. And I'm in my room. I thought it was because I was away from lights less. I actually truly believe it's a social aspect I haven't fulfilled in my life yet. Because remember, I was in a room for 15 years. So I find it very safe to be alone and very comfortable on the internet. My only outlet for 25 years, but 15 years straight was the internet. So I feel very comfortable. So I wonder if that social aspect lowers stress, but also my workflow is a lot less stressful. So usually I get up quite early and I work all day, whether it's coaching, whether it's I've done my exercise, whether it's creating content, whether it's doing lives. And so it was more rest. So my opinion on this, and I can tell you some of the things I've been eating, was that it slowly I just did not have any symptoms, and I really haven't even when I was sick. Usually when I'm sick, everything flares up to the point where a lot of in New York, I was just eating fruit or greens or fruit or greens. We did have a night out, but mostly and I just don't eat that much. I find I do a lot better with a lot less food. Like the less food I ingest, because when I was really sick, I never got the same reactions I get now where I'm pushing through big juices and big salads and I don't have a stomach and I'm pushing it in. So there's another aspect to it. So I think just picking like a little bird as I go through my day with there's more social aspect and less stress. That's my interpretation of it.
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic. But a lot of people would well, I've never had the experience before, usually when I go away, I'm still very isolated. As in like, it's, I'm not with someone who eats and does the same as me. So I wonder the aspect of how much social interaction and feeling included actually reflects on somebody's
Yeah.
psyche and their stress levels, and that would be huge. I mean, I studied psychology. It is huge, but you don't realize it, I think, when you've been through so much trauma. You just don't.
Yeah, you went to Caravan of Dreams, which I used to go there quite often when I was in New York, and that could be quite heavy, and you didn't have any.
I will say it was very heavy. I did not feel great for 2 days, but I had been eating very light, and then I will speak for myself. You just eat a lot. Like, we ordered everything. We did a YouTube video to be on Jillian's channel, so you'll get to see all the recipes. They're amazing. But like today, if I was to do that, I would order just a small serving, and have it, and then go on with my time, and maybe eat something, snack or something later. But we sat and we like banqueted, so that's, I don't think necessarily the restaurant. The other thing I want to say about having a raw food out is none of it came with a salad. And I know, and we speak about this a lot, where if there's fresh in the bowl, I do better. So if I had salad, predominantly fresh and bits and tried bits, I would have done much better. But it was basically a lot of dehydrated food. And
Yeah, I was quite impressed with the photo that you shared. I was like, wow, how many people were there?
Yes. So it was a good, it was a beautiful experience. Plus, when you go there, Jillian's like a full-on celebrity. Anyone in there that's raw is like blown away that she's in there. So that was nice too, for some people to meet her. So
that place was so convenient for me because they have cooked, so they're vegan, cooked raw vegan, and it was a very, when I was transitioning, it was very easy place for me to socialize with my old friends, especially, so that they can the delicious food, that they all love the food there.
Yeah. I will bring up this comment only because something's also changed with my hormones. So I've gone back and forth with raw and cooked vegan food, trying to heal my hormones. Do you have any advice? I keep falling off, I guess, because I don't feel it's healing fast enough. So I just want to speak on me for a second, because I had a history. I've been in menopause, full-blown menopause, for 15 years. And I had a full hysterectomy, complicated one, when I was 30. I'm now 44, well, almost 15 years. And for 10 years, I was on estrogen replacement therapy, the same amount every day, for 10 years. I completely stopped. And for 3 years, I was able to stay raw. But what I noticed was happening was I was using like almost the vibration or the hydration. Like, if I didn't have a whole lot of food in me, I didn't feel good. Like I couldn't just sit in my space. That was what was ending up happening. I was getting joint pain. I was also just feeling like I was aging really fast. So I put the estrogen therapy back in. I'm not saying this is what you need to do. I just want to explain this story. So I put it back in. I couldn't get my full dose back in. And every time I did, I'd get mast cell activation. And I had, I feel like when I have estrogen in, my mind works better. My joints work better. I feel more like myself. I just feel more like myself. Okay. It's hard to explain. There's just lots of little things that really help me. So I still didn't feel 100% great on what I was taking with the estrogen. I feel better, but something was still missing. And because I haven't reacted on this trip, I tried putting my full dose back in. Boom, I feel even better. Like, I feel like there's nothing more that I could possibly do. Now, I'm not telling you that's what you need, but both Kiko and I use medication to help us in some way, whether that's something you need, whether there's something extra. I just want to say, is no use living another 40 or 50 years. I'm not even saying this is what you need, without being, I don't know where you're at, being tested, trying different things, just because people think raw is it. And raw is the foundation. I can't not do raw. I can't take this and just leave raw. But I feel like I've got more than 7 major organs missing. I feel like if you need some help, you need some help. But if it is your hormones, I don't know, that can be very broad. There's many hormones that could be.
Yeah, I love that you share your story, and it's so important that we are mindful of, yeah, like how good is it at just pushing yourself on this one diet and blaming that you're not doing enough, which I was falling off. And for my story, like so when I 21 years ago when I started raw vegan journey, I had ovarian cysts. So I had 8 centimeter and 4 centimeter. So I had grapefruits and tangerine size of cyst in my ovary, and that was yeah, I had few ruptures. And when I realized as long as I stay raw vegan diet, that doesn't come back. And more precisely, it was alcohol and gluten. If I stay away with those two, this ovarian cyst didn't come back. So I was quite sure of this diet at that time curing everything. As long as I stay raw vegan diet, then everything can be cured. And then recent years, I have shared that I have adenomyosis, and it's about the same size, about 12 centimeter thickness. And due to that, I had a heavy period that I almost passed away last year. And just taking a pill to stop my period, it just helped me to gain my iron back, and to have all these activities that I want to do in my life. So yeah, my attitude towards medication and certain supplements has completely shifted. Before I was taking it because because I was not perfect, I'm taking it, but it's great. Like we are living in a perfect timing of the. I do feel that this is a perfect time of the world, that we have so many to choose from. Just choose wisely. That works for you.
Yeah, and it's got to feel right. And also, I'm just reading all the comments coming through, but also I wanted to just touch on this. Koala said, I finally figured out phytoestrogens like soy and flax actually mess me up. I do fantastic on bioidentical estrogen and cream. And everyone's story that I've ever heard, not just hormones, but gut and their healing journey, sounds like this, where there's foods that some thrive on and some don't, and a tiny bit of, and most people use bioidentical hormones anyway. I don't, and I've spoken before on this, is that I may go to it. It's just I wanted to put what my body already knew back in. I didn't want to start. It's just too head messy for me. Something a bit familiar. So, but there's not much. It's just estradiol that I'm having in. But I did also see here that I'm not completely against meds, but the numbers aren't super abnormal. And that's why I decided to try to do things naturally. And that's definitely fair. But usually if it's hormonal gut, I will say there's definitely an overlayer of stress. Like that can sometimes be this, like no matter what food you do, you will constantly have problems just because hormones are so sensitive. Most of the body is sensitive to stress, but you usually see it in your hormones. And that's why one day I would love to have like a retreat or a sanctuary where people just leave their life and experience like just nature and fresh food for a few months to let their body recalibrate, get off social media, no podcasts. But a lot of the time we can we can get stressed over healing. Like how long being sick is very stressful.
Like, true.
Who isn't, like people are having mental health crisis as it is, and then you get sick. And then, but yeah, we were saying earlier, or I was saying earlier, is not that somebody needs to take that, but in my mind is when you've worked so hard on something, if a little bit of something can help me for the next, whatever it is, 20, 30, 40 years, I just felt in the space to do that. But I'm not recommending that that's going to fix anybody.
For sure. Yeah. So what are you eating nowadays? Now you're not, I mean, you're in a home that you can prepare your meal.
Sure. So, okay, for example, today I just feel so great at the moment. Like I really feel that having my normal dose back in has just made me not think about food so much. I'm around like lots of love and a family. And so I got up, went for a run. I came back. I had one green juice, which I struggle now to get through. I find estrogen therapy, because it makes you hypersensitive, when you put it in, you may have a higher pain response. I had regional pain syndrome, chronic pain, so I have to be careful. But I remind myself my body's adapting, but it gives you a sensitivity. So estrogen also regulates leptin, and this is a hunger hormone, which you notice a lot of women can't regulate their hunger. I couldn't regulate mine. This is more regulated. So I could barely get through. My juice took ages to get through. And then I munched on some grapes and some cucumbers. And then I remember going, I'm really hungry, and just got lots of veggies. And Jill had this cashew and dill dip. So I dipped it in that. Then I had some peanut butter and, see, I get too cocky. I had some peanut butter and celery, and then I felt really sick. It's just nut. At home, when I have the fresh nuts from the guy that I know, when I make my own nut butter, and I have a bit very different. That was not a good
Very lucky.
Yeah, yes, I am very lucky. And then that didn't make me feel good. I had a bit of a rest, and then I just had more fresh, so more just grapes, a couple figs. I had maybe half an apple and more cucumber, and just not eating as much, just snacking when I need to, keeping the hydration up with the foods. But unlike these copious amounts of juices that I constantly needed, where something was not right, that seems to have didn't stop until I increased the hormone replacement therapy. I just wonder, I don't necessarily think it's just strictly chemical. I think you have to understand that most of my adult life I have had. Also, please remember, I had a second piece of uterus, so my brain loves estrogen. So my brain actually has extra estrogen receptors. That's why they believe I ended up in chronic pain. So it gets quite complicated. But I believe because a lot of my life I had estrogen, and then I lost a lot of my memory. But estrogen is a neurotransmitter involved in memory. A lot of your memory just kind of doesn't work the same as you go through menopause. And then you've got someone who's lost memory, and you take away something which was helping. I just think there's a lot of trauma, and I just think there's a lot to do with trauma and my body needing to remember. Like the estrogen helps it remember. And so
how are you taking estrogen? By pill form?
No, a patch.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a transdermal patch. Yeah, I like it because I can regulate it, especially when I'm putting it back in. You know, I can put it on for a bit of the day, take it off if it's too strong. I can cut it away. I do not recommend doing this. It's just I've had replacement therapy for years. You should work with your doctor, but I just know from working with doctors for years is just build up slowly. And I'm basically back on the only thing I ever really wanted again when they took all those medications away, like all those opioids and all those SSRIs. The only thing I kept saying was, give me my hormones back, please, in the psychiatric hospital. And every time something's gone wrong, I've asked for hormones. Then at the end of last year, I craved them for months, like, I had these urges just to put them on. And it seems like for me, but do know I'm missing my ovaries, uterus, fallopian tube, cervix. They've cleared all the area around. They cleared out that so it's probably helping me a lot. Also, I use wild yam cream, guys, at night, and it does help. I
would love to know.
Twice a day. Sorry.
Yeah, you just buy it off of Amazon.
What is it called? What's her name? Anna's Wild Yam Cream. We'll bring that up for anyone watching. It's an Australian thing, isn't it? What's that lady's name? That vegan lady who was Australian, Barbara O'Neill. Anna's Wild Yam Cream. She recommended it, and it went wild. It was really hard to get for a period of time. Anna's Wild Yam Cream. I should put it on my Amazon storefront. Here, let me share this page with you guys. I think a lot of people do know what it is, but we will share screen here.
I've never taken it, but I was using Young Living similar, and it smelled so good, but it was difficult to find it. Oh, that looks good. Yeah.
That's his body moisturizer. Mine doesn't actually look like that. Let me find the website just so I'm real with you guys, because mine looks more like Anna's Wild Yam Cream. No, I don't know much about it. I just know that because Barbara O'Neill was from Australia, this is sold in like Australian stores. It lasts me about a year, a tube of it. I don't
Does
think you
it
can get
smell?
what I have. Oh, there it is. Let me share this screen. This is the one I have. Anna's Wild Yam Cream from Chemist Direct. Maybe that's like a. Can I bring this up? Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can bring this up.
Sure. Does it have the scent?
I guess it smells like yam.
Oh, that's what is it? Wild yam.
No idea. Oh, you're asking. I'm like, I don't. It does have a scent, but not a scent like you think, like a perfume scent.
Okay.
No perfume scent. Okay, here. No, that's not the one. That's not the one. Here we go. Oh, that's not the one either. Anna's.
So you could
Oh, here.
you could use it like a moisturizer.
You could, but they say to build up to it. Apparently, it's quite potent. She says to start with small amounts if your body takes it. I noticed when I didn't have the estrogen in, when I took it, it almost knocked me out. I couldn't get up in the mornings, but I was just not doing well with anything. I'm trying to bring this picture up here. See, it's like this is the one I've got over here. Where is it? Can we go over here? Open. I don't know why it's not opening.
I appreciate you doing
There we go.
all the
So
time.
Mine looks like that tube. Comes in a box like that. Enriched Anna's Wild Yam Cream.
Not showing, but it's okay. I think
Oh,
it's
here you go. Oh, it's not showing either. Oh, I have to share a different page. Okay, I'll keep doing that.
Yeah. So anyway, it's we should wrap up soon because I have to go to the dermatologist. Oh, another pill, speaking of which, another pill that I started taking is antihistamine pill. I don't take it often. Oh, it's a green box. That's a beautiful one.
Yeah, it's green. It comes in a green box and the tube looks like that. I do just posted a vlog. I think it's on the New York vlog that I just posted. I share what I do, my routine and all of that, and that's part of it.
It's quite expensive, huh?
It isn't that expensive in Australia. That'll last you about a year. Will last me about a year.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, here we go. I've got mine off iHerb. Yes, I got mine seed on iHerb. But yes, I've heard stories like this. Be cautious. It made my sister start her period early by 2 weeks. Like it's literally, to me, it's like progesterone support for my estrogen. Probably not as strong, but like I hear all these stories. Like people start using it and lose a lot of period symptoms as well. But I hear also there's another side to this. Yeah, you only use it in your luteal phase. I use it the whole time because I got estrogen on. But yes, when women have their period, they should only use it when they're not bleeding.
Okay. And I wonder what Koala Mama, if you can comment what it does for you. So
it's it's progesterone, acts on the wild yam cream acts on the progesterone receptors. Receptor sites, so it's an antagonist.
Right.
Sure it is here. Progesterone, wild yam. Anyway, do you want to finish on why you're going to the dermatologist, or are you going to say something else?
Right. So I found out. Well, I've tested years ago when I was in France because my skin was like so dry and was reacting too easily. And it turns out that I'm allergic to birch. The birch allergy, but I'm not, when I'm close to it, when I touch it, I don't feel it. But with extended research by my husband, maybe what I'm allergic to is the similar protein in birch that's present in most of the fruits. So I will let you guys know, but I'm avoiding peach, pear, actually all the fruits out there now in season. I tend to be allergic to it. So when I have a flare up, I just take this antihistamine pill. I haven't taken much, but it has helped so much to calm down Yeah. So I'll go to a specialist. I have gone seen dermatologist, but this one is more specialized. So hopefully I can find out more in details of what kind of foods that I'm more allergic to or reactive to. So
Well, I hope it goes well for you and you can eat your peaches soon. You get your peaches out in Georgia. Reminds me of a Justin Bieber song. All right, guys. Well, it was amazing, Kiko. Thanks for joining. And I feel like I know that it goes off, but I feel like we're just trying to share that all our challenges actually like guide us somewhere. Without them, we ain't getting very far.
yeah, and enjoy your journey, because we have a lot more time to spend on this journey than getting to that goal that you want. We need to find a way to enjoy this every day, every minute, every second journey to get to where we want, right?
We do. I love that. And we can finish on that, guys. So everyone have a good night or have a good day. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Bye.
Bye.